I've been going out to the shops, just shopping for groceries and all that sort of stuff. And I've noticed when I first went out, it's kind of like you think if you're not, it's kind of like that first step of like, for me, once again, it's like, it's so easy to just put the mask on to just not get bothered by anyone and just go in and do your shopping and then come out and take it off if you want. I get it, right? Sometimes you just want it, but I decided from the start because each time you compromise yourself like this, it's doing something, especially when you know it's wrong and especially you know that it's a psychological thing going on here as well and you still do it. I can't do that to myself. That'll do more harm to me than being, I don't care if everyone stares at me in the shop. I really don't care because, people think, people might have the perception, it's like the media's come out now and said, these people are in a cult or whatever. Once I start seeing that push in the media of that sort of narrative, I did start feeling the public, because I'm able to, I guess you could say, pick up on, just energy around me, I suppose, like everyone can. I can just feel things well and see things too of people looking and people kind of, you started getting that vibe that things were a bit more like, who do you think you are, sort of thing. But no one's said anything really other than a couple of times, like going 7-Eleven and I'll put your mask on and it's just, or I'll call the police. So I said, call the police, like, I don't care. I did get stopped by the police. Actually, I'd just gone for a run at about 8 a.m. And then just sat down and was on the phone. And the police walked past. There was about 3 police officers and 3 army officers, or 4, I think it was. It was about 8 of them in total.
Whereabouts are you, by the way? If you don't mind, you don't have to share this, but is this Melbourne, or you don't have to go there if you don't want to? But I'm just curious.
In Melbourne, yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you
based
get
in
stopped
Melbourne.
by police officers and guys in military attire.
Yeah. So sitting there, and they come up and, why aren't you wearing a mask? And I said, I was kind of caught off guard. And I said, I've been running. And they said, well, do you have your mask on you? And I said, no, didn't know I had to have it on me. And then I said, what if I've got a medical condition? It's kind of just, I didn't argue with them. I just essentially said to them, look, I believe this is getting ridiculous now. I said, do you really feel comfortable? I just had a conversation with him. I said, do you really feel comfortable wearing that mask all day? Like, yeah, well, it's not just us, mate. It's the public as well that aren't going to be happy with you. Kind of like, I have to do it. He said to me, like I said, I think this is ridiculous. And he said to me, well, I have to do it. I'm wearing this for 8 hours. It's like, okay, you have to do it. No one has to do anything. It's this thing, like you were saying before. It becomes this, they're calling us a cult for thinking for ourselves in the media. They're the ones who are a cult. They're the ones who are saying, if you don't go with what we say, then, we're going to ostracize you and persecute you, essentially. And that compliance thing and that whole, we're working together. That is exactly the root of the problem here. You hit it on the head before when you said it's about this compliance thing with people, if it's for the greater good, that's the right thing to do. No, that is not how it works. It's exactly. In democracy, it's not how it works. Freedoms come number one. And the reason they're there is so that people can't bring in this bullshit to erode them. But people don't get it. And then they're like, what are we, the US here? I see people saying that all the time.
I know, this is what I get. It's like we're in the, sorry, go on, man. This is really good stuff. So you get stuff, you actually went directly at it and explain that you had a conversation with these police officers trying to get them to understand like how you feel about it rather than trying to get wiggle your way out of it. So you actually spoke to these guys as to why you don't think it's cool wearing a mask. And how did that go down?
Well, it went fine, really. I just was, the thing is, once again, it's that whole fear thing. It's like, it's stupid to, like, you got to think of it. People got to think of it in their heads. What's the worst that's going to happen? Okay, a cop comes up to me. All right, well, fine. I get a fine then. Like, big deal. It goes straight in the bin anyway. I don't care. Like, what else? Like, I've got nothing to be scared of because I've done nothing wrong. So I'm just like, I've just explained to them, like, I actually have asthma, which I don't. But even if I did or didn't, it's none of their business. I've had lung problems in the past, though, which could be a genuine concern with breathing in a mask. I just don't want to wear it because I've read can you guarantee to me that this isn't going to negatively affect my health? Because if you can, then I'll wear it. But if you can't, then you're liable for that. If you're going to enforce me to wear this thing. then you're essentially saying that I can guarantee that you're not going to get, so many different ways to look at it. Anyway, going back to with the police, I just spoke to them. I said, we're being dictated to here. This is going on too long. This is ridiculous. I kind of just gave them, told them what I think about it. And they said, we'll at least put in some effort. I've had that from a cop when the lockdown first happened. I was sitting down with my friends eating a sandwich. And this was when it was like, you couldn't be out with people, at the shops, and you couldn't even sit down. And I remember the police officer said to me, well, like just standing there like this, and it's me and my 3 friends. And he's like, what do you think you're doing? And I'm thinking, eating a Subway sandwich, like, is there a fucking problem? I'm eating a sandwich. And then he's like, yeah, that's going to be an expensive sandwich. It's like, it's like a movie. It's like, are you fucking serious? So I can't eat a fucking sandwich. I can't sit down and mind my own business and breathe fresh air anymore. When you really look at it the way it is, it's insane. And it's people used to this.
This is exactly how I feel. Wait. And it's so refreshing to actually hear someone speak openly and honestly about it. Because if you're like me, I try to be a bit more diplomatic when I'm speaking to people. It's like, well, I mean, I don't want to be wearing a mask all the time, I gotta. It's like, this is fucking ridiculous. I mean, I heard freaking Dan or some prime minister just a while ago talking about how, fair enough, if you're sprinting, fair enough. I mean, you don't have to wear a mask if you don't want to. I mean, if you feel like you can wear a mask even when you're exercising, do something. Like, what? You're encouraging people to wear masks when they're exercising, and then he goes on to say, but you should make sure you put on your mask straight away. After you've been exercising, because you're more likely to be spitting particles, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
What is liberty?
What the? Who says you can't build muscle on a vegan diet?
What's it like being a hottie in the vegan community? There are no political solutions, only technological ones.
The economics of the system don't allow multiple competing systems to survive.
Engineering, technology, these arts of humanity, they are magic.